On the foggy morning of November 11th, 2024, Portsmouth's historic dockyard lay shrouded in a solemn mist, the iconic silhouette of HMS Victory emerging like a timeless guardian, its towering masts piercing the haze, its weathered oak hull a monument to Britain's naval heritage. The air was thick with the briny tang of the Solent, mingled with the faint scent of damp cobbles and the distant cry of gulls, their calls echoing over the gentle toll of St. Anne's Church bell, marking the sacred hour of Remembrance Day. The dockyard, alive with the quiet bustle of naval personnel, veterans, and visitors, was a sea of crimson poppies pinned to coats and scarves, their vibrant petals a stark contrast to the grey dawn, each one a silent vow to honor the fallen. Naval flags, white ensigns, Union Jacks hung still in the windless air, their colors muted but proud, while the cobblestone paths gleamed with morning dew, reflecting the soft glow of lanterns lining the road to Victory's gangway. At the gate to the ship, Albert Finch, an 82-year-old Royal Navy veteran, stood with a poppy wreath clutched in trembling hands, his faded jacket patched, his George medal worn and scratched from decades of quiet keeping pinned proudly to his chest. Young sailors, guarding the entrance, mocked the medal's age and Albert's frail frame, their laughter a jarring note in the ceremony's reverence. But a junior officer's resolute action and a call from the Ministry of Defense MOD unveiled the hero's past, transforming scorn into salutes, igniting a legacy of respect, and reminding all that true valor often wears the humblest guise. For those of you who felt the sting of underestimation, revered the unyielding courage of veterans, or been moved by a truth that silenced doubt, this story of Albert's dignity, a young officer's honor, and a community's awakening will stir your soul. Join us in celebrating these moments of quiet heroism by subscribing for more tales that peel back the surface to reveal the strength in silence. Comment. Salute him below to stand with Albert and honor his enduring legacy. Albert Finch, 82, was a living testament to resilience, his frail frame and weathered hands etched with the trials of a life at sea, his blue eyes shimmering with memories of camaraderie, loss, and survival. Born in 1922 in a modest fisherman's cottage in Plymouth, Devon, Albert grew up in the shadow of the Great Depression, his childhood shaped by the rhythm of the tides, and his father, Thomas, a stoker on HMS Hood, whose tales of naval battles at Jutland sparked a boy's dreams of the sea. At 17 in the fateful summer of 1939, Albert joined the Royal Navy, his signing papers inked as war clouds gathered over Europe. Trained as a signalman, he was assigned to HMS Kelly, a K-class destroyer, its sleek hull slicing through the Atlantic to protect convoys from U-boat wolf packs. In May 1942, during a perilous escort mission off Iceland, a German U-boat's torpedo struck Kelly, the explosion tearing through the ship's belly, flames licking the deck, icy waters flooding the holds. Albert, then he stood at his post, flags forgotten as the ship listed, his captain's shout, "Save who you can," ringing in his ears, with oil burning on the surface and screams piercing the night. Albert swam through fire and ice, dragging 40 crewmen to life rafts, his lungs searing, his hands blistered, his courage unyielding. For this, he was awarded the George Medal, a rare civilian honor for gallantry, its silver disc presented in a quiet ceremony at Plymouth Hoe, his mother weeping, his father's hand firm on his shoulder. "Finch, you are our lifeline, kept us alive," gasped a rescued stoker, words that became Albert's anchor through a career that spanned the war's end, service in the Mediterranean, and retirement in 1965 as a chief petty officer. Settling in Portsmouth with his wife, Margaret, a seamstress whose nimble fingers patched his uniforms. Albert raised a son, Peter. His stories of 1942 shared over Sunday roasts of beef and Yorkshire pudding. His George Medal rarely worn, its ribbon frayed, kept in a velvet box with Margaret's love letters. Widowed in 2005, Albert lived alone in a small flat overlooking the Solent, its windows framing the sea that shaped him. His annual pilgrimage to HMS Victory on Remembrance Day, a sacred vow to honor his Kelly crew. His goal, steadfast keep their memory alive, stand for those lost, live with the quiet pride of a survivor. They're still with me, every wave, every storm. He'd murmur, adjusting his navy cap. Its anchor badge faded, his blue eyes steady, his heart tethered to the icy waters of 1942. To you, who've carried a legacy of sacrifice perhaps through a grandparent's war stories, a memento of bravery, or a promise to remember Albert's devotion, might echo a time when you felt the past's weight, when memory fueled your purpose, when you stood tall to honor those who could not. The scene at the HMS Victory on November 11th, 2024, was a poignant tableau of remembrance. The dockyard transformed into a hallowed arena for Portsmouth's Remembrance Day ceremony, one of the nation's most revered. The fog hung low, softening the outlines of moored ships HMS Warrior's ironclad bulk, HMS Queen Elizabeth's sleek silhouette, their steel hulls glinting faintly through the mist, their white ensigns at half-mast, a silent salute to the fallen. Crowds gathered, swelling to thousands, a diverse tapestry of naval officers in dress blues, their gold braid catching the lantern light. Veterans, their chests heavy with medals from Normandy, Korea, and the Falklands, families clutching programs printed with poppy motifs, and tourists from across the globe, their wool coats and scarves adorned with crimson poppies, their cameras stilled by the moment's gravity. A military band, its scarlet tunics vivid against the gray, played The Last Post, the bugle's haunting notes echoing across the cobbles, silencing chatter, drawing tears, and stirring memories of sacrifice. Wreaths of poppies lay at a temporary memorial, a granite slab inscribed with Nelson's words, "We will remember them." Its surface dotted with handwritten notes, "For Dad," "D-Day," "For my brother," "Atlantic." Sailors stood in flawless formation, their boots polished to mirrors, their salutes sharp, their faces etched with solemnity, the air thick with the scent of wax from candles held by children, their flames flickering in the mist, the ceremony's rhythm prayers, hymns. A chaplain's blessing wove a spell of reverence, the fog a curtain that hushed the modern world, drawing all to 1945, 1918, 1942. Albert arrived, his limp pronounced, his arthritis flaring in the damp cold, his faded navy jacket patched at the elbows, his George Medal pinned proudly, its silver disc scratched, its ribbon frayed but bright, a poppy wreath in his trembling hands, its petals a vivid tribute to his Kelly crew. He moved toward the gate, his goal to lay the wreath aboard Victory's deck, a sacred act to honor the 40 men he saved and the dozens lost, his blue eyes steady with quiet pride, his cap tilted against the mist, his scarf a shield against the chill, but his worn medal and slow pace caught mocking eyes. Young sailors at the gate whispering, their smirks a discordant note in the ceremony's sanctity, their laughter a shadow on Albert's unyielding resolve. To you, who've stood in a moment of remembrance perhaps at a cenotaph, a graveside, or a ceremony where history breathed Albert's presence, might recall when you felt the past's pulse, when sacrifice became tangible, when you stood to honor the fallen amidst a crowd's collective vow. At the gate, Albert presented his George Medal as identification, a naval tradition for veterans seeking access to lay wreaths. His fingers slow but deliberate. His voice a soft murmur over the band's fading notes. For my crew, lads, from HMS Kelly. The young sailors. 3 ratings in their early 20s. Fresh from basic training at HMS Raleigh. Stood in crisp uniforms. Their white ensign arm patches bright. Their eyes flicking to the medal scratches. Its ribbons wear. Their faces betraying inexperience. Able seaman, Tom Riley, 22, a Londoner with a quick grin, laughed. His voice, cutting through the fog. That medal's older than my gran. What's it even for? Mate his mates, Seaman Luke Harris, 21 from Manchester, and Seaman Emma Cole, 20 from Bristol, chuckled. Harris whispering, must be fake, looks like something from a junk shop. Cole grinned, mimicking Albert's limp with a subtle sway. Bet he's here to spin sea shanties or some old yarn. Their laughter, though hushed, carried, drawing glances from the crowd. A few tourists frowning. A family of 4 nearby shifting uncomfortably. Their children clutching poppy pins, their mother whispering, "That's not right, is it?" Dad, a veteran in a beret, his chest heavy with Korea medals, glared, his wife's hand tightening on his arm. Albert stood calm, his dignity a fortress, his blue eyes meeting Riley's, his reply gentle but firm. It served its time, son, like I have. He adjusted his wreath, its poppies brushing his jacket, his hands trembling but resolute, his naval training composure under fire, focus amidst chaos, holding him steady, his silence a shield against their scorn. The crowd's mood wavered, some veterans muttering, a woman in a poppy-embroidered scarf snapping, "Show some respect, for God's sake," her husband nodding, their programs clutched like shields. Albert's resolve was a quiet beacon, his presence a living link to 1942's icy waters, his medal a truth the sailors couldn't yet see. Their mockery a test of his lifelong vow to honor his crew. Their names John, Harry, Bill etched in his heart. To you, who faced ridicule for your truth, perhaps a symbol dismissed as outdated, a story doubted as myth, or a moment when laughter cut deep, Albert's composure might resonate, recalling when you stood unbowed, when your dignity was your armor, when you carried on despite the sting of scorn. Among the crowd, Junior Lieutenant Clara Holt, 25, stood watch at the gate, her naval uniform crisp, its dark blue wool immaculate, her blonde hair tucked tightly under her officer's cap, her brown eyes sharp with the instincts of a second-generation sailor. Her father, Michael Holt, a Gulf War veteran who served on HMS Gloucester, had raised her on stories of naval heroes, their medals a map of courage. His lessons clear, Clara. Every medal's a story, listen to it, respect it. Stationed at Portsmouth Naval Base, Clara was tasked with overseeing gate access for the ceremony, her clipboard heavy with names, her radio crackling with updates from security. She'd noticed Albert's approach, her gaze lingering on his George Medal, its distinctive design crowned with St. George and the dragon familiar from her father's books on naval honors. A civilian award rare for a sailor, a mark of extraordinary gallantry. The sailors' laughter grated, Riley's grand jibe and Harris's fake whisper striking a nerve, her brow furrowing, her father's voice echoing, "Never let a veteran's service be mocked." She hesitated. Protocol urging restraint ratings were her subordinates, but public reprimands could disrupt the ceremony's solemnity. Yet Albert's quiet dignity, his limp, his wreath, stirred her, a clue to a past worth defending. His medal a question demanding an answer. As Cole's mimicry drew another chuckle, Clara acted, her voice low but sharp, cutting through the fog. Enough. Ratings. Stand proper. She stepped closer, her eyes on Albert's medal, her mind racing George medal, 1940s, likely wartime heroism. She pulled her phone, its screen glowing in the mist, and dialed her superior. Lieutenant Commander James Patel, 38, a desk officer at the base's operations center. Her words urgent but measured, sir. We've got a veteran here, George Medal, Albert Finch. The ratings are mocking him. Can you check his record? Please, Patel. Swamped with remembrance logistics, VIP arrivals. Wreath schedules paused. His tone clipped, name again. Clara glanced at Albert, who nodded softly. His voice a murmur, Finch, Albert Finch, HMS Kelly, 42. She relayed it, her stance protective, her clipboard lowered, her presence a quiet shield around Albert. The sailor's laughter fading, Riley's smirk faltering, Harris shuffling, Cole's grin gone, the crowd watching, the fog thickening. The band's silence a canvas for the moment's rising tension. The memorial's poppies a vivid reminder of why they gathered. To you, who've sensed injustice and taken a stand, perhaps defending someone's honor, challenging scorn, or seeking truth amidst doubt, Clara's resolve might mirror a time when you spoke up, when you trusted your instincts, when you stood for respect against a tide of mockery, knowing right from wrong. The truth arrived like a thunderclap, shattering the sailor's scorn and rewriting the morning's narrative in a heartbeat. Patel, at his desk in the operations center, surrounded by screens and radios, accessed the MOD's veteran database, his fingers flying across the keyboard, his screen illuminating with Albert's record. Finch, Albert, signalman, HMS Kelly. 1942 George Medal, awarded for gallantry, saved 40 men from sinking destroyer after U-boat attack. North Atlantic, May 23, 1942. The citation, digitized from naval archives, detailed Albert's swim through burning oil, his rescue of 40 crewmen, his near death from hypothermia, his medal presented by King George VI himself. Patel's eyes widened, his coffee forgotten, his voice firm as he called Clara back, urgency cutting through the static. Lieutenant, Finch is a hero. He saved 40 lives, swam through fire, nearly died for it. That George Medal's the real deal. Get him to the wreath laying, now, with full honors. Clara's breath caught, her phone lowered, her brown eyes locking on Albert, who sat on a nearby bench, his wreath resting in his lap, his blue eyes calm, unaware of the cold's seismic impact. She approached the sailor, her voice low but cutting, her authority absolute. You mocked a George Medal recipient. Albert Finch saved 40 men in 1942 under fire in the Atlantic. Stand to attention, now. Riley, Harris, and Cole froze, their smirks vanishing, their boots snapping together in unison, their salutes shaky, their faces flushed with shame. Riley's eyes darting to the ground, Harris swallowing hard, Cole's hands trembling. The crowd murmured, a veteran in a beret, his chest heavy with Korea medals, whispering to his wife. George Medal. That's proper bravery. That is. A tourist, filming the exchange, caught Clara's words, the sailor's salutes, Albert's quiet dignity on the bench, the clip spreading on X within minutes, titled Hero's Medal Honored at Victory and Shed Thousands of Times. Its caption, raw. Young sailors mocked his medal. MOD set them straight. Clara turned to Albert, her voice softening, her posture respectful. Mr. Finch, The MOD confirms your service. You're a hero. Sir, please, come with us to lay your wreath. Albert rose, his limp steady, his wreath held high, his blue eyes meeting Clara's. A faint nod his only reply. His silence, a testament to a heroism that needed no fanfare. His cap adjusted, his scarf tight against the fog. To you, who've seen a revelation, shift a moment, perhaps a truth that silenced critics, a hero's past brought to light, or a moment when honor prevailed over doubt. Clara's call might recall a time when you witnessed justice done, when a story was set right, when respect replaced ridicule in the blink of an eye. The ceremony transformed into a celebration of Albert's valor. His escort to HMS Victory's deck, a moment of profound reverence that rippled through the dockyard. An honor guard of 4 sailors, now including a chastened Riley and Harris. With 2 senior ratings added for protocol flanked Albert. Their salutes crisp, their boots echoing on the cobbles, their white ensign patches bright, the crowd parting like a sea, their murmurs turning to cheers, cameras flashing, phones raised. The fog lifted slightly, the sun breaking through, casting Victory's masts in sharp relief against a pale sky. The band striking up Rule, Britannia. Its stirring notes a swell of pride that lifted every heart. Albert climbed the gangway, his limp slow but resolute, his wreath clutched tightly, its poppies vivid against his faded jacket. Clara at his side, her hand steadying his elbow, her brown eyes warm with respect. On the quarterdeck, beside a brass plaque inscribed with Nelson's words, "England expects every man to do his duty." Albert laid his wreath, its placement deliberate, his hands trembling as he smoothed the petals, his voice breaking in a whisper, "For my crew, John, Harry, Bill, all of you." His blue eyes glistened, tears tracing his weathered cheeks, his cap tilted back, his George medal catching the sunlight. It scratches a map of sacrifice. The crowd, now swelling to over 1,000, erupted in applause, a thunderous wave that echoed across the dockyard. Veterans standing, their medals glinting, their salutes slow but proud. A woman in a poppy-embroidered scarf sobbing openly, her husband's arm around her. Tourists lowering phones to clap, their faces awed. A child waving a small Union Jack. His mother whispering, "That's a real hero, love." Commodore Elizabeth Ward, 50, the ceremony's officiant, stepped forward, her dress blues immaculate, her voice clear over the band's fading notes. "Today, we honor Albert Finch, George Medal recipient, a hero of 1942, who saved 40 lives and reminds us why we gather to remember the courage that secured our freedom." Her salute, mirrored by officers, sailors, and veterans, was a wave across the deck, Albert nodding, his cap in hand, his heart full, his scarf loose, his presence a bridge to a night in the Atlantic when fire and ice tested his soul. To you, who've seen a hero celebrated, perhaps a veteran saluted, a wrong made right, or a moment when courage shone brighter than any stage Albert's wreath-laying might mirror a time when you witnessed valor lifted high, when respect drowned out scorn, when a quiet man became a legend in a single, sacred act. The moment's impact didn't fade with the ceremony's end. It grew, a spark that ignited Portsmouth and rippled far beyond, carried by voices, screens, and hearts. A plaque was proposed by Commodore Ward, backed by the crowd's roar and the Portsmouth Naval Base's command, Finch Gate. Its design, a bronze anchor entwined with a George Medal, inscribed, "For Albert Finch, hero of HMS Kelly, Remembrance Day, 2024. Whose courage lives in memory. The announcement, made as the crowd lingered, drew cheers. Veterans raising poppies, families clapping, tourists sharing photos. The plan trending on X under Finchgate, posts flooding Albert's plaque, is our pride. Finchgate forever. The viral clip Clara's reprimand, the sailor's salutes, Albert's wreath-laying, Ward's speech spread globally, titled Heroes Medal Honored at Victory, and shared millions of times. Hashtags: A Hero Revealed, Ash Remembrance 2024. Salute Finch lighting up feeds from Portsmouth's pubs to Tokyo's cafes, from Cape Town schools to New York's offices. Comments poured in, a digital chorus of awe. Albert's our hero, 40. Lives saved. Clara's respect is Navy soul. Those sailors learned a lesson. A veteran, Mr. Harold Baxter, 78, who'd served in Suez, spoke to a BBC crew at the dockyard, his voice thick. Finch swam through hell for his mates. That medal's worth more than gold. His words, clipped into a viral post, trended under Finch's fire, shared by naval bases, schools, and families, silencing any lingering whispers of the sailor's shame. Riley and Harris, reprimanded but retrained, wrote apologies, delivered to Albert by Clara, their handwriting neat. Mr. Finch, we're sorry. Your courage humbles us. Albert read them, his blue eyes softening, his reply simple, sent via Peter. No grudge, lads learn and serve. The exchange, leaked to X, trended under Finch forgives, posts praising. That's a hero's heart. Albert's grace is everything to you, who've seen a moment redefine respect, perhaps a humble act that shifted perceptions. A hero's story that united, or a wrong righted by truth. Albert's honor might recall a time when you saw courage celebrated, when respect rose above scorn, when a single act rewrote a community's heart. The legacy took root swiftly. Albert's story, a beacon that illuminated Portsmouth's pride and inspired a broader awakening. Schools across Hampshire, Devon, and beyond adopted his tale. Teachers crafting lessons titled Heroes of 1942. Their classrooms alive with stories of Albert's swim through burning oil. His 40 saved lives. His George medals shine. Students, from primary to sixth form, wrote essays. Their notebooks filled with quotes from the MOD's citation. Their questions eager. How did he keep swimming? What was the medal like? Assemblies featured his story. A Portsmouth school projecting the X clip. Clara's voice echoing. He saved 40 men. Kids crafted poppy wreath, their paper petals pinned to boards. Their chants of Finch Finch ringing in playgrounds. Veterans, inspired by Albert's moment, shared their own stories at HMS Victory's visitor center. Their voices strong at community talks, their medals displayed, their poppies placed with new pride, crowds listening, their questions heartfelt. Did you know Finch? What was Kelly like? A campaign. Know their valor. Launched in partnership with the Royal Navy, MOD, and the Royal British Legion. Its mission to teach veteran stories, to ensure no medal was mocked. No hero overlooked. Its posters a bronze anchor and a George medal, captioned, "Every vet has a story," appeared in schools, libraries, naval bases, and community centers, translated into Welsh, Urdu, Mandarin, and Arabic for global reach. Their message clear: see the service, not the wear. Murals sprang up, each a tribute to Albert's valor in Plymouth. His silhouette against a burning sea, captioned, "Gallantry." In London's East End, A wave and a medal, valor. In Sydney, an anchor and stars, courage. In Halifax, Canada, bravery with a destroyer's outline. X posts multiplied. A global tapestry of respect. Taught my class about Finch's swim. A Portsmouth teacher wrote, attaching a photo of student essays. Started a vet club, inspired by Albert. A Liverpool youth leader posted, sharing a poppy wreath. Saluted a veteran today, thinking of Clara. A Toronto sailor shared, pinning a digital poppy. The campaign's reach was profound. Schools reported students more engaged with history. Veterans groups saw younger volunteers. Communities hosted Valor Days with talks, wreath, and silence. Their posters echoing Albert's medal. Clara's stand, Ward's salute. To you, who've seen a story spark a movement, perhaps a tale that changed hearts, a hero's legacy that grew, or a moment that united generations. Albert's impact might mirror a time when you saw honor ignite change, when respect became a shared vow, when a quiet act reshaped how the world remembered. Albert's life, post-ceremony, became a quiet celebration of his legacy. His small flat in Portsmouth, a haven of memory and gratitude. His table overflowed with letters from children, their words in crayon and ink. Dear Mr. Finch, you're our hero. Thank you for saving 40 men. I want to be brave like you. He read each one, his blue eyes misty, his fingers tracing their drawings of ships, medals, and poppies. His heart warmed by their sincerity. His George medal, once tucked away, now hung on his wall. It scratches a map of sacrifice, its silver gleaming beside a photo of Margaret. Her smile, eternal. And a new frame, Clara's note, delivered post-ceremony. Its words handwritten, Mr. Finch. Your courage teaches us all. Thank you for your service. Albert visited HMS Victory monthly. His limp steadier with a new cane, a gift from the dockyard staff, its handle carved with an anchor, its wood polished. Sailors greeted him, their salutes sharp, their voices warm. Mr. Finch, welcome back. Sir tourists, recognizing him from X, asked for photos, their respect clear. You're the medal hero, aren't you? He'd nod, his cap tilted, his reply soft. Just a sailor, doing my bit. Clara, promoted to lieutenant for her initiative, shared Albert's story in officer training at HMS Collingwood. Her voice firm, her slides showing his medal, his wreath, his swim. See the medal, not the wear. Every veteran's a story. Recruits listened, their salutes sharper, their barracks buzzing with his name. Finch's Navy soul. Proper legend. Riley and Harris, reassigned to training, carried Albert's lesson, their apologies pinned in their lockers, their service now marked by respect, their mates joking. Don't mock a medal. Lads might be a Finch to you, who've carried a legacy forward, perhaps mentoring with a story, honoring a hero's truth, or seeing your actions live in others. Albert's quiet pride might recall a time when you kept memory alive, when your respect inspired, when your stand shaped a future. The Know Their Valor campaign grew, its impact a testament to Albert's story, its reach touching schools, bases, and communities worldwide. Portsmouth's primary schools launched Finch Days, kids wearing poppy pins, their classrooms filled with models of HMS Kelly, their teachers reading the MOD citation, their cheers for Albert echoing. Secondary students in Devon and Hampshire wrote essays, their titles bold: Why Finch's Swim Matters, The George Medal's Truth, their words shared on SchoolX accounts, trending under Know Their Valor. Universities in London and Bristol hosted veteran panels, Albert's story a centerpiece. Their audiences students, professors, retirees asking, how do we honor like Clara naval bases? From Plymouth to Faslane, adopted Finch drills, training sailors to recognize medals, to ask veteran stories, to salute service. Their manuals updated with Albert's citation. His photo a staple. The Royal British Legion saw a surge in young volunteers. Their poppy drives citing Albert. Their funds rising. Their voices clear. Every vet's a Finch. Listen to them. Communities beyond the UK joined schools in Halifax, Canada, taught Albert swim. Their students sending letters, cafes in Sydney hosted Valor Teas. Veterans sharing tales, libraries in Cape Town displayed Know Their Valor posters. Their Afrikaans translations bold. Murals multiplied in Plymouth. Albert's silhouette against a burning sea. Gallantry in Cardiff. A wave and a medal. Kofio in Delhi. Shaurya with stars in Auckland. Tow with anchors. Ex-posts swelled. A global chorus shared Finch's story with my cadets. A Singapore naval officer wrote, made a poppy wreath for Albert. A Chicago student posted, stood silent for vets, inspired by Clara. A Dublin teacher shared, attaching a candle photo. The campaign's legacy was tangible. Veterans reported feeling seen. Schools saw history engagement soar. Communities bridge generations with poppy ceremonies. Their posters echoing Albert's medal, Clara's call, Ward's salute, Riley's lesson, Harris's shame, Cole's silence. To you, who've seen a movement unite, perhaps a cause that bonded strangers, a story that inspired action, or a moment that lived beyond its day. Albert's legacy might mirror a time when you felt history's embrace, when respect wove a tapestry, when a quiet act became a global vow. The Finchgate plaque, approved for unveiling in November 2025, was planned as a centerpiece of Portsmouth's Remembrance Day. Its ceremony is set to draw thousands veterans, sailors, Clara, Peter, Ward, and local leaders. Their poppies raised, their salutes a wave, the dockyard alive with pride. The design, finalized by a Plymouth artist, featured a bronze anchor entwined with a George medal. Its inscription etched deep for Albert Finch, hero of Temeskelly. Remembrance Day 2024, whose courage lives in memory. A model of the plaque, displayed at Victory's Visitor Center, drew crowds, their fingers tracing its lines, their whispers reverent. That's for Finch, the hero. Portsmouth's mayor, Councillor Jane Reed, hosted a fundraising dinner for the plaque. Albert, the guest of honor, his George medal gleaming under chandeliers, his speech brief but piercing. For my crew, always John, Harry, Bill, all of them. The room, 200 strong, stood, their applause a roar, their glasses raised. X capturing it under hashtag Finch honored. Posts. Reading. Albert's words broke my heart. Portsmouth's proud. The BBC aired a documentary. Finch's Fire, a hero revealed. Its footage weaving Albert's 1942 swim, Clara's call, the wreath laying, Riley's apology, Harris's silence, Ward's salute, Peter's pride, its viewership soaring to millions. Its message, unequivocal honor, lives in silence, courage in humility. Albert, at home, framed Clara's note beside Margaret's photo. His George medal displayed. It scratches a story. His flat a shrine to memory. Peter visited weekly. Their teas filled with stories Kelly's deck. Margaret's laugh. The fog of 2024, his pride clear. You're my hero. Dad, always were. Clara, at Collingwood. Mentored recruits. her office displaying a poppy wreath. Her lessons shaped by Albert respect starts with seeing. To you, who've honored a hero's truth perhaps with a salute to a veteran, a stand for memory, or a moment that valued sacrifice. Albert and Clara's story is a call to stand with respect, to let honor breathe, to remember the silent with love. Albert's monthly visits to HMS Victory became a ritual of reverence. His cane steady, his cap tilted, his scarf bright. Sailors greeting him with salutes, their voices warm. "Mr. Finch, sir, good to see you tourists." Recognizing him from X, shared selfies, their captions glowing. Met the George Medal hero children. On school trips, waved, their teachers pointing. That's Albert Finch, saved 40 men. The dockyard staff gifted him a lifetime pass, its card embossed with an anchor. Their manager saying, "Your victory's heart, Mr. Finch." He'd smile, his blue eyes crinkling, his reply soft, "Just a sailor, doing my bit." The campaign spread globally. Schools in Berlin taught Albert swim. Their German posters bold mood. Communities in Lagos hosted poppy days. Their Yoruba captions clear Akikanju. Murals in Delhi, Shauria with stars, drew crowds. Naval bases worldwide adopted Know Their Valor. Their drills citing Finch. Their sailors saluting veterans. Their ex-posts vibrant. Honored a vet, Finch style. A Portsmouth schoolgirl, inspired. Started a Poppy Pen Pals Club, kids writing to veterans. Their letters reaching Albert. His replies neat. Keep their stories alive. Little one. The plaque's unveiling, planned for 2025, was set to stream live. X buzzing with anticipation. Finchgate Live. Albert, at home, read a letter from a Canadian child. "Mr. Finch, you swam through fire," how he smiled, his pen moving. "For my mates, you find the strength. For you, who've carried a story's weight, perhaps a moment that changed your path, a lesson that lived in your actions, or a truth that shaped your world." This tale of Albert, Clara, Ward, Riley, Harris. And a gate is a call to salute with respect, to keep memory alive, to honor the silent with love. Share your story. Have you saluted a veteran, righted a wrong, stood for valor? Subscribe for more tales of heart and courage, and join us in raising awareness. Stand with honor, live with respect, love with memory. Click the bell, share with someone who cherishes heroes, and let's salute the medal that shines, the truth that restores, the legacy that endures, in a veteran, an officer, and a gate that honors forever.